Rachel Holt for Nesson.com here with DJ Foster of Fox Sports with a look at fantasy football week 12. And DJ, fantasy playoffs are right around the corner, so things are getting a little crazy in our world. I know a lot of people are making that final push. There's no teams on byes this week for the first time since week 3, so we have that to look forward to. And a big reminder, there are 3 games being played on Thanksgiving this Thursday, starting at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure you start your rosters early. And DJ, I have to ask you, for some people this may be uncharted territory where they're making that playoff push, like I said, or they're in the playoffs. What's your advice for those people as we head into week 12?
Everyone is back. That's the good news. The bad news is everyone is also hurt. Last week, it felt like all the big stars across the league, multiple huge injuries. Andrew Luck probably isn't going to suit up Thursday night. A.J. Green could be out for the season. Giovanni Bernard is out. So there's a chance that you're in the playoffs and, oh no, one of your big stars is hurt. So the waiver wire, if it's still available to you, it should be in most leagues, is going to be crucial this week. So get your team set up right. You're playing matchups now, individual matchups more than rest of season. Now is a great time. Get that defense that has that clutch matchup. Get that tight end that's playing Cleveland, whatever you got to do this week to win this week, you do it. You're taking it 1 week at a time more than any other time in the season.
You mentioned that Andrew Luck may not play Thursday. He's been placed in concussion protocol. And a lot of people are saying the name Colin Kaepernick as possibly a guy you should replace him with. Since taking over the starting job in week 6, he's averaging the 9th most fantasy points per game among quarterbacks. I was a little surprised when I heard that stat.
Yeah.
Are there any guys like Kaepernick you would suggest picking up as a quarterback?
2 weeks ago, I was parking about Kaepernick. Do you remember?
I remember. You were the guy who was telling us to go get him.
I was saying, I don't want to toot my own horn or anything, but I was saying that the rushing stats create a nice high floor for him. He's going to have to throw a lot in garbage time. He is a very attractive streaming option once again. I mean, it's a little bit of a tough game going on the East Coast to play a better Miami team who's been playing better defense lately, but he's still a pretty attractive streaming option. Other options, just scrolling through here. Chicago, you probably want to avoid whoever ends up stepping in for Jay Cutler there. Maybe you go Tyrod Taylor against Jacksonville or Blake Bortles if he's available in your league. Streaming's a little difficult at this point. One guy that I may look at, and it sounds crazy, and he's given us no reason to believe he'll have a good game, but Jared Goff is playing the Saints this week. If you're desperate, the Saints hand out fantasy points. I know Goff isn't really an exciting option, but we've seen pretty novice and pretty poor quarterbacks gash the Saints for hundreds and hundreds of yards in the past. So if you're super desperate, I might look that way.
Well, like you said, you're the one that told us to get Kaepernick, so we have to trust you at this point. Goff may be an option. As far as tight ends go, you already told us that a lot of the key players this week have been injured heading into playoffs. We're not sure what their status may be. Rob Gronkowski is a guy who is taken high up there in a lot of leagues, and he may miss another game. We're not sure yet. Who are some other tight ends that fantasy owners can look at?
Yeah, if you're searching for a tight end in your league, you're in a little bit of trouble. But there are some decent options out there. Will Tye is made Larry Donald completely, he's put him on the bench, basically. Larry Donald isn't even playing anymore. Will Tye has the starting tight end job. He's seeing a decent amount of targets. He scored a touchdown in last week's game. He's worth a flyer in my mind, especially because the Giants are playing the Browns this week. That doesn't hurt either. Keep an eye on Jacob Tammy's status in Atlanta. If he's out, you can go there again with Hooper. And let's see, let's try and give you one more here. Maybe Dennis Pitta against the banged up Cincinnati Bengals. Kind of a low floor with Pitta, but the first guy I would go get Will Tye in just about every 12-team league. I got a good feeling about him this week.
And then running backs, I know, as always, a couple of them are getting banged up. CJ Prosise is the guy we mentioned to look at a couple weeks ago. Now he's likely to miss the rest of the season, so who are some running backs to target on the waiver wire this week?
Thomas Rawls is still somehow available in over like 25% of Yahoo leagues. If for some reason Thomas Rawls is available in your league, go get him because he's going to be a clear-cut RB1. You're probably not going to be so lucky as to get him. Jalen Richard, we saw him on Monday night play a pretty big role in the passing game and spelling Latavius Murray. He might be worth a look. It looks like he's passed DeAndre Washington as the clear running back 2 to Latavius Murray. Running back, it's a little tricky this week. It doesn't look like there's a ton of great options with great matchups. So you may be just looking at handcuffing one of your big guys. If you have a star running back and you're set with your starting lineup, I would just go get whoever his backup is, because depth, now that you're in the playoffs, is less important. But if you win a playoff game and your star gets hurt, you want to make sure that you're getting the guy that's going to step into his role and get all those carries. So now I think handcuffing should take a bigger focus.
DJ, my last question for you is the defenses, and I'm doing a stream and defense kind of approach here. Last week I went the way of whatever team was playing the Cleveland Browns, and it did pay off. The Steelers racked up 8 sacks against the Browns. They put up big points. Now the Steelers play again as the Colts maybe start their backup quarterback. So
yeah,
in terms of streaming defenses, I'm either looking at Steelers as a good option or the team that is playing the Browns this week, which is the Giants. Out of those two, which one would you suggest?
Yeah, don't mess with success. I do like the Giants as an option against Cleveland. Their quarterback situation is up in the air as well, as Cody Kessler may be out for the year. So you may be getting Josh McCown instead, which should mean some interceptions are coming in that game. But if Andrew Luck is out and he didn't practice as of Tuesday, it's looking like he's going to be out with concussion symptoms. I would prefer Pittsburgh, actually. I think Luck kind of holds that offense together. They already give up a ton of sacks every game, so there's a nice floor for defensive potential there. And Scott Tolzien, I don't know. I don't trust him not to throw some interceptions. So Pittsburgh is a great streaming option this week. And another little sneaky one I'll throw to you guys, Tennessee Titans. Yeah, they haven't been as good lately the last few weeks, but Chicago, no Jay Cutler. They're down to their third quarterback. They already lost Alshon Jeffrey to suspension. This seems like a team ripe for the picking. So Tennessee, Pittsburgh, both great streaming options.
Good stuff, DJ. Where can we find more from you throughout the week if we want to set our rosters and make sure we got it right?
Yep, we have rankings, we have analysis, we have everything published for you on foxsports.com/fantasy. You can also follow me on Twitter @FoxSportsFoster.